The process model canvas as a redesign approach is heavily inspired by the business model canvas, and you may be familiar with that. The business model canvas is of course used in different contexts and for a different purpose. The process model canvas is really a redesign approach, and I like to use it as an illustration for new developments that take place, and also to show you how we can apply the dimensions I told about in a previous session to characterize redesign approaches. I'm going to give you an explanation of the technique, and in the next section we are going to actually apply it to a big example. The process model canvas is actually what you see here, and it may be a bit overwhelming when you see it for the first time. You see different boxes there, but in essence it is about the following. We try to reason about a new process by taking a customer as a starting point to start reasoning about what excites him or her, which we call the wow factor, and use that as a starting point to reason about the different activities that need to be carried out in that process, which together give you the motivation behind that process, the why. Let me give you an idea of the most important concepts in the process model canvas. The process model canvas is really focused on the what in a process design, not so much on the how, but it likes to identify the different activities which are crucial to establish the wow factor. And in my small example that I'm using here, you see actually two activities. There is surgery in a particular medical context, and there is follow-up physiotherapy. And the process model canvas is much interested in these activities, but also in the exchanges of information between the different parties which play a role in that process. So here there may be important information exchanges between the family doctor and the surgeon, but also between the family doctor and the physiotherapist. And the process model canvas focuses on these information exchanges as the key elements behind the new process design. So it identifies the activities and the communication patterns between the different partners. If you take again a look at the process model canvas, at the top you see the what, and if you carry out the process, this is of course being carried out in a particular order. You execute the process from left to right. But to really apply the process redesign approach, you take the different order. You start reasoning about what it is that the customer wants to see coming out from the process, and then try to identify the different steps and information exchanges. And you do this in a highly creative way, in the sense that you would involve people to reason about the factors, the activities, and the information exchanges. And you would use the process model canvas to collect all their ideas and finally derive a process design from that. So let's try to characterize this process redesign approach. It is transformational in nature, since it aims to achieve a breakthrough innovation, a totally new way of doing this particular process, not by considering how it is organized at this point, but taking through creative steps involving people, the outsider's perspective, the customer's perspective, as a starting point to identify the steps that need to take place and all the information that needs to be exchanged between them. So let me try to wrap it up. I've told you about the process model canvas as an innovative way of process redesign, and I've also explained to you how it can be characterized. And you may try to use what you have heard now, for example, by looking at business processes that you are familiar with and start identifying whether they perhaps the wow factor which drives the process model canvas. Because if you can see that, it may actually be an opportunity for you to try out this particular technique. You may also start thinking about what it really is that makes people engage in process redesign. The process model canvas tries to engage a lot of people through this creative brainstorm-like approach to identify the activities and the information exchanges. So this excitement that you get by involving people, how can you bring that about in other process redesign approaches that you are familiar with?